Gobbet Opus number 2, Infection Control, from September 9th, 2008. Amongst my many jobs, and my grandmother always said a job is what a dog does on the carpet. She was from Massachusetts, so it was a carpet, not a carpet, is the task of infection control at my various hospitals. Infections, as many of you are well aware, are a complication of hospitalization and can cause significant morbidity and mortality. I have been the chair of our infection control, or as we now call it, infection prevention. But for some things, I am just too old to change, and I'll probably always call it infection control. But I've been involved with that program now for 19 years, and I've seen the continuous improvement in a variety of hospital-acquired infections, much to the detriment of my bottom line. Some days I feel just like R.J. Reynolds telling people to stop smoking. The one area that has made some dramatic improvement has been hand hygiene, where over the last decade we've gone from 20% compliance to over 90% compliance. But it seems difficult to get people to wash their hands or to use one of the many hand sanitizers around the hospital. We use alcohol foam in our institutions, and I have to admit it took me about 6 months to realize that it was not to be used orally. I thought it was like Cheese Whiz. When I was a kid, to urinate was to take a whiz, so I wondered just what is in Cheese Whiz. The alcohol foam is great. When we started using it, our infections fell by half, even with 20% compliance. And as foam use has increased, the infections have fallen in parallel. It is really a remarkable dose-response curve. However, I suspect that in their heart of hearts, people do not believe in germs. They can't see germs after all, so the germs are probably not there. With about 40% of hospital infections being due to bugs being carried on the hands, and probably the stethoscope, and the beeper, and the watch, and fake nails, and cell phones, and your necktie, all of which have been cultured and found to carry pathogens. In England, it is my understanding that you have to wear short-sleeve shirts and no jewelry below the elbow. At this rate, we may soon be practicing medicine like the original participants in the Greek Olympics. Ew. So, clean hands are important. And it has been estimated that it takes about 10 years for new medical information to be disseminated, so I have to cut people a little slack about hand hygiene. We've only known about the importance of this intervention for 160 years. I really don't know why people do not wash their hands. One study found higher compliance in the real world rather than the hospital and suggested that hospitals are too clean to trigger a hand-washing response. Perhaps we should go back to pit toilets in the hospital. I suspect that part of the reason is also that people do not wash their hands because they are too damn busy to remember. Modern medicine is intense and complex, and people are busy and at most can only remember 6 things at a given time. Last winter, I was taking the kids to school at 7:30 in the morning, and I have to make a right turn onto a 4-lane busy street and then the immediate left across traffic. I was talking to my kids and drinking coffee, and I made the maneuver with no problems, only to find a cop pulling me over. What I failed to do was to stop at a red light, and I saw neither the red light nor the cop who was sitting in his car right next to me when I made the illegal turn. The turn was safe, but I was too busy to keep track of those pesky things like the policeman and that pesky stoplight. Same problem with hand hygiene. We may have alcohol canisters and soap everywhere, but in the busy driving of modern medicine, washing your hands may be an illegal right turn with an unseen cop on your left. That, I think, is known as forcing a metaphor. So, while you should expect your healthcare provider to wash their hands, they may be too busy to remember, being preoccupied with numerous other aspects of your care. As the poster in my hospital say, it's okay to ask. It's like flying an airplane. I always ask the pilot if the wheels are down when he starts his descent. I just want to be safe. The relevant reference for this podcast is from the Journal of Hospital Infection, July 2009. Are hospitals too clean to trigger good hand hygiene? PMID 19446365. See you next time for another Gobbet Opus.